1830 something. No, it wasn't 1830 something. Anyway, it doesn't matter when it was. If you go there, it changes you.
Changes you how exactly then?
It makes you appreciate all the small things just as much as the big things in life. It makes you realise what all the different things that we normally take for granted.
So what differences does this make to our school then?
Well, you know that little ginger kid we always laugh at?
No, I remember that now.
Yeah, well that's how it started. People made jokes about Jewish people. They not only mentally hurt them, but then they physically hurt them in the streets. They singled them out as nobodies, and then they took all their identity, and then they eventually killed them.
But I still don't care.
Those who do not remember history are bound to live through it again.
At Auschwitz I saw some truly horrific things. Words do not even begin to sum up the inhumane and cruel things these innocent people had to go through. We have to make sure that these things do not happen again. For our society to learn from these events, we have to work in harmony. We have to understand that not everyone is the same, whether it is due to their race, religion, or even what football team they support. No two people are the same, and that is a good thing. Everyone is important to society. After all, without people, then there would be no society. I want to make sure that everyone knows just how important they are to our ever-changing community. What people say about you says more about who they are as a person than who you are. If you are doing the right thing, and you know that you're a good person, what should it matter what others think? Be creative, be different, be you. Because if everyone were the same, the world would be a very dull place.
During the Second World War in Auschwitz concentration camp, the Jewish prisoners realised that they had enough rabbis to set up a formal Jewish court. They put God on trial and said that if he existed, then all the suffering and hate that happened in that place would not happen. At the end, they finally found God guilty and proved that he didn't exist. After that, one of the rabbis said to the Jews there, "Brethren, it is time for the evening prayer, so let's pray to the Lord."
We all found this such an amazing and rewarding experience.
And we would like to thank Miss Regan for taking us on this amazing trip, and also to the audience for
Hello,
watching.
we're from the Grey School. I'm Ollie, and these are my friends Abby, Lauren and Daisy. We found our trip to Poland very emotional, so it had a big impact on how we feel now. As before we went to Poland, there was lots of prejudice in our area, and after we came back, we have been challenging it in an attempt to cut discrimination from our area. To show how emotional this was, we've prepared a few things. I will read a letter. I'm sitting in a restaurant with some extraordinary people. We went to the first concentration camp today. At the first camp, we saw lots of sad, but yet interesting things. But it hit me more on the second camp with the frozen pond and the one red rose.
Walking through the gate, you can really feel the hate. Every emotion in your body comes alive. Then you feel so numb and you can't feel anything from the tip of your toe to the top of your thumb. Seeing all those horrible things, I'm pretty glad to say that England wins. From the shoes to pyjamas and the hair and suitcases, these people are going bananas. Who can make such horrible places? The shooting all that stood quite tall was really quite emotional, but those stupid Nazis thought it was promotional.
As I walked round, nothing really sunk in, but then I saw the shoes collected in one day, and the execution area and the gas chambers. I felt so sad and started to well up. Seeing the last things millions of people saw in their life made me feel as if I was a part of it all. I saw where millions of families were split up at selection point, and I couldn't imagine how painful that must have been. Through most of this I wanted to cry, so I walked alone for a bit. I took hundreds of photos to help remind me. After today, it's made me appreciate what I have, especially my family. It hasn't really sunk in yet, but through all the sadness, I actually feel quite happy with the fact that I do have my family, I do have privileges, and I do have amazing opportunities like this.
I now have a newfound admiration for my great-granddad. He had to go into Bergen-Belsen with the prisoners still there and still suffering. I could hardly bear being there when it was empty of its prisoners, so he's a real hero to me now.
Today I went to the camps, and in the coach I was very nervous.
When we stepped outside and saw Auschwitz, it hit me that this actually was a real place, and these things did happen. As we were walking around, I was okay, a bit sad but okay, and then I went into the room with the hair, and I was absolutely stunned the amount of hair in that room. It was unbelievable to think that that's only a certain percentage of it, and it was just shocking.
This trip made me realise how lucky I am with what I've got. The people who died in the Holocaust did not really have anything, and if they did, it was taken all away from them. It wanted me to be more grateful about what I've got and not take it for granted.
That left us to ourselves, so this is mine. As I stood before the gate that hid so many secrets, I stopped and I thought about the millions of people's lives that were ended so horrifically. It made me think about my life. My life isn't as bad as I think it is. These people would appreciate a life like mine, to have the chance to take exams and go to school, but instead they had to live their lives frightened, with their every move being watched. As I walked along the stone-filled paths that were once filled with innocent Jews, I began to get a nasty feeling at the pits of my stomach. I didn't belong here. I was intruding in a place where human beings took their last gasps of oxygen. They had nothing. Staring endlessly at the cabinets of shoes, hair and suitcases made me realise what power can do to someone. It ruined the many lives of so many people. These people had done nothing wrong to deserve this pain and struggle, and all they was doing was trying to live their life. The eeriness of Birkenau will always stay with you, no matter how old you are. This is where these people spent their final days with their loved ones, and it made me think of my own family back home, and how I would feel if I lost them. Everyone takes things for granted in life, but the biggest thing we shouldn't is life. You never know when yours might end, so we have to live every day as if it was our last, because history can repeat itself.
Today has definitely made me realise that all of the people that died were real people. They had friends and families and hopes and futures just like me. It also made me realise how easily something like this could happen again.